Anyway, it's a real palaver. Alright, good morning, I'm alive. Or live, whichever one. So, good morning on Friday the 11th of the 11th. So, I just got the holiday schedule up here. Now, the banks are certainly closed for observance even, of Armistice Day in France. We've got Veterans Day in the US and Remembrance Day in Canada, and we don't close here today in terms of the banks. And I just checked the holidays that there isn't a holiday schedule for a closed equity markets. So the equity markets are open as well. So we should see some action somewhere. Now we've seen the GDP coming out this morning, and just looking at some of the numbers, and there's certainly the majority of the numbers, in fact, are better on here. They're displayed on here, look, on the left hand side, and they're certainly better than expected, apart from the GDP estimate month on month, which is now minus 0.6 versus minus 0.4, but the rest of the numbers are more positive. So there you go, that's where we are. Oh, actually, let's just check if I missed anything there. I was expecting it to be a quieter day, but it might not be. Close prelim sentiment. Okay, so we have got some consumer sentiment coming out later. Won't take too much notice of that. Let's get on and look at what's happening. Is this the time now for the lift off for the euro? It could be signifying it a little bit more. It's been giving us the clues for the upside over the last couple of weeks. There's action going on. When we very first broke and gave us the higher low back here, that suggested, well, we could be seeing a bigger correction, and then we did. In fact, we saw a correction going the opposite way until there was some positive news coming out, and off it's gone since then. Yesterday helped with the inflation figure for the US being less than expected. It will help some of those Fed members wipe their brow that at least the tightening starting to take effect and inflation's coming down. So it's always a delayed process. As it looks, there'll be just a 0.5% increase in the December meeting from the Feds, and under that basis, or with that basis, things have eased into euro's favour. Now, I'll do a recording later on actually, and looking at the other cracks that were below this surface in terms of showing that the big money, at least, was gradually over the last few weeks getting a bit more positive on the euro. Anyway, looking at where it is at the moment, it of course had a decent surge up yesterday. Normally, when we've had the inflation data out of late, it always comes pretty much straight back to where it had been. We've had some analysis yesterday afternoon on this before the news, and we'd seen it come back. This is different. It's a little bit more, well, okay, they can stick to their slower rate here, and Europe have got to do a bit of catching up. So the European Central Bank has got to do a little bit of catching up, and maybe we'll see a bit of catching up and the euro a little bit more of a bounce. I'm not getting too joyous because there's other pressures on the eurozone, but it certainly looks like it's got some potential. Getting into a trade though this morning is another matter, and it might be that I can't just join this initial surge. I'm always wary of getting in there before 8 o'clock even. And even straight after 8 o'clock, I'd rather a market settle down. So really, I've got to wait for a retrace. This would have been a nice retrace, but it's already happened. Perhaps we can get a retrace later. Sorry, this is a short-term time frame. I've come down here because of just wanted to focus it a little bit more. So it's just got to be a bit patient on this, but I am looking for the more positive side of the euro. And the other markets, of course, to an extent. The pound also, with that GDP news this morning, is largely positive GDP news, I might add. We could see some continuation here. It's not just the euro. We've got this sort of inverted head and shouldery pattern that seems to be taking off. and the 4 hour is there. And well, I'm more interested in the waves here. This nice stretch back. We've probably not far short of a 1-to-1 there, but we could have more to come. Okay, that's the pound. I can't get into the pound yet either, and it's going to be pretty much the same story everywhere. Euro, yen, sorry, dollar, US dollar yen. Well, that finally shot down yesterday. I had actually been saying that it's looking better, but it did break down, a little retrace and sell off. It's certainly looking soft again, but it's trying to get in when some of these movements have already happened or started to happen. I just don't like, in that case, selling, or in these cases buying, when they are in the place they are. The thing to watch out on the Aussie, for example, you've got this retrace, it's pulled, and then not much of a surge, and it's retraced again and pushed up. We're going to get another retrace, and it sort of just runs out of momentum. So it's a bit of a concern, but it might be that, as I say, just don't get a trade in it today. Try my best to look for one. Canadian dollar here, US CAD, same basis here. The US is sold against the CAD. And we've already had these lower highs, and we've already had the weakness shown to us, and this is just really confirming it. So looking soft across these markets. Again, though, it's right in its near-term bottom. I need something for it to come back to, and again we've got the same pattern as what we're seeing with the Aussie, the slowing up pattern basically. Now that doesn't mean to say we won't get another surge down and a move over, but I do need a retracement. Right, looking aside gold, well, there's no surprise here. This had a good one then. Well, it was having a good one when I looked. There we go. It's continued to have a good one. So that triple bottom has worked out on this occasion. There's me moaning about triple bottoms. However, it did start looking more positive from a few days ago, and when it started, there we go, when it started earlier this week, when it put in the higher low, so the cracks were there for the but it obviously surged quite strong on that news then, but again yesterday surging, pushing through on the news. Sometimes these things, though, it looks great after the effect, but you can't always get in and trade all of it. We traded part of the move yesterday, and I was aware that we could easily see the price come back down again, as we normally have, and it didn't. So now trying to get back in, not on gold but on the euro. Oil, should have left part open, I know. Oil, well, it's caught a bit of a bid here, and generally we expect it to be more positive if we see a slightly softening US dollar, and that's what we're really getting. It's not sort of following the likes of the gold price, etc., but the sort of the battle with the US and etc. On trying to keep prices down. Is still there. It has this morning gone some more. Again, I've been sort of looking for $100 barrels for some while. It's looked at, I'm like I'm completely out of sync, but I think we might be going there this time. maybe not, but it certainly looks much more positive. There isn't an immediate trade, but we could get something set up as we run into next week. Right, looking then at the click on this button here, equity markets first. I'm not going to go through all of them in major detail or great detail, just flick through some of these. This morning CSI 300 saw the bounce there, so you're seeing the Nikkei really pushing up and the Nifty 50 pushing up. Then we come across the US markets, which are open and tradable. Huge surge yesterday. It was really good news for stocks in terms of a slowdown in interest rates, potentially increases, that is. So the stock market liked that. The stock market also doesn't mind a hung government, effectively, which is basically the way it's heading, with one house going one way, the other house going the other way. I haven't seen the latest data on that, but that really stalls a lot of action and can be quite positive in the equity markets. And I wouldn't be too shocked if we see a continuation. Now again, we've seen this sort of corrective pattern, so we've retracement. It's broken through there. We could see more upside. My change of thoughts on this come back a week or so ago, and I'm still looking at more positive markets here. The Dow Jones already pushing up to the prior highs there. Just coming down the time frames. There's just no entry on these at the moment, as it for me. I do need a retrace. I never buy on straight out the on the up bar, going up and up and up, because sod's law is, as you do that, it rolls backwards on you. Anyway, so no entry on those. Let's come nearer home and look at the DAX. And well, it's the hourly DAX. Let's just look at the daily DAX. You see my little black line, it broke that. Solid old day yesterday. I don't expect anything near the same sort of movement today for sure, and that's just, don't get ahead of ourselves here. Things aren't great, but these markets are seeing money running into them at the moment. The excitement. But at this stage, again, I've got to be patient. I've got to wait, see if there's an opportunity, a retracement on here as I come down these time frames. Just have a look at the daily pivots here. Daily pivot right the way down, way down. So huge gaps yesterday on the short time movement. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's probably just moved so quickly, but either way. Suggests a gap there. I like gaps because they normally get filled, but maybe not this one too soon. Maybe just the way it's been shown on here. Anyway, it certainly moves pretty fast. Again, I'm sitting here looking at any of these markets. FTSE's a bit more stifled in terms of what it's done on the hourly, and it's pulled back. Maybe it's going to push up this morning as we get cracking when it's open. This is actually a closed market at the moment, so it's got a couple of minutes away, a minute to go. So it's I would expect this to be pushing up positive this morning as well. But the DAX already gone this morning. Sorry, I come back to my hourly chart here, and you just see how it broke through. It was sitting there pre-news. News came out. If you were in it, it's wonderful. If you weren't, you'd have probably got slipped getting into it, but it has gone and it has held. And as I said, as with the euro, I expect this to be a bit more of a sticker, so a bit more of a lift off. But let's not discount any potential corrections, and the correction would give me the opportunity I want to get long. Okay, nothing more there today, I'm afraid. I'd love to say, well, I'm going to just buy this on the break of this or the retrace to that, but they're not showing it at the moment. And sometimes if you're not in the market, you've got the old FOMO, and you know what happens. You think you're missing out, you buy it, and it's just on a bit of a correction. So I should look. It started already, as I said that. And I'm not looking to sell it. I want to be trading with the direction. So patience today. On that note, I wish you a great weekend, and I will. I've got a video to go up later on YouTube, so watch out for that. On the sort of focus on the euro, showing you the cracks behind it. I wish you a great day, and catch you tomorrow. It won't be tomorrow, it'll be Monday. Morning, Ian and Michael. Sorry I missed you there, but have a great day.